The movie kicks off with us finding out that it's the year 2026. While a glacier in the Alps was melting, a man's body was uncovered right in the middle of the ice. Scientists discovered that he's been dead for about 5,300 years, and today we're going to find out his story. So, we're heading 5,300 years back in time, straight into the heart of the Alps. Back then, there were no countries or cities. It was all just scattered tribes where maybe a few dozen people lived, nothing more. In our hero Calab's tribe, his pregnant wife is just about to pop, and she actually gives birth successfully. But unfortunately, she passes away during childbirth. So Calab and the rest of the tribe take her to perform their special death rituals, because they believe that's how her soul finally becomes free. Calab picks one of the women in the tribe to be his new wife and take care of his infant baby, and they throw a small celebration for the newborn according to their beliefs. After that, the leader Calab decides to head out and do some hunting, because life back then, my friend, depended on food, fur, and hides, and that was it. Our hero says goodbye to his baby and trusts in God as he heads out to find his livelihood. He keeps walking for long distances while looking back at the tribe, which is living in peace, raising birds, and just trying to survive until they die, nothing more. Because to them, death is the real freedom. As for our hero, he sits down to rest for a bit after walking a lot and starts a fire by rubbing stones together, of course. But then he senses an animal near him, so he gets up to hunt it with his bow and arrow immediately. It shows he's got the skills, and he succeeds in his first hunt. Back at the tribe, everyone was living happily and doing their chores, whether it was making leather and fur or raising animals for food. But suddenly, a person from another tribe storms the place and kills one of them. He's got a lot of men with him using bows and arrows, and they attack everyone. When our hero's wife sees this, she gives the baby to a young boy and orders him to run away with him fast. Right after that, one of the men from the enemy tribe storms her hut and starts beating her up. Unfortunately, the young boy also gets shot from a distance by an arrow and falls dead on the ground while clutching the infant baby. The savage tribe's men continue killing and destroying everyone there without any mercy. After that, they start setting the huts on fire, so whoever didn't die gets burned alive or dies from the smoke. All of this is happening, and our hero Calab doesn't know anything yet, but he smells smoke and looks at the tribe from a distance and sees it completely on fire. At the same time, one of the enemy tribe's men assaults Calab's wife with total brutality. Then the leader comes and asks her about the location of their special stone, but she spits in his face. This pisses him off so much that he stabs her in the heart with a spear, finishing her off instantly. At that moment, Calab was running as fast as he could to get to the tribe. But unfortunately, the leader and his men had literally destroyed everything. They kept looking for that sought-after stone everywhere until they found a small box. They opened it and actually found the stone inside. So they got happy and decided to take it and leave, because they basically came for it in the first place. When Calab gets close to the tribe, he keeps calling out for his wife while screaming. The leader and his crew hear him, but they decide to leave after burning everything down. Our hero arrives and sees his wife's body in the middle of the fire and gets extremely sad. He takes her body and goes outside, worried about his baby and not knowing what happened to him. He puts her in a spot and performs their death rituals so her soul can be of course. He keeps looking around and sees nothing but ruin and destruction, with absolutely nobody left alive, until he sees the young boy lying far away. He runs to him immediately but is shocked to see he took an arrow and is already dead. But the surprise is that he was still clutching the infant baby, and that's the only one who managed to survive the massacre that happened. Calab picks him up, feeling beyond sad that his whole tribe and everyone he knows are gone forever. He looks at the young boy's hand and kisses it because he loved him and considered him just like his own son. It starts raining then, so our hero sits in a spot while protecting the baby from the cold and rain. It wasn't just silence hanging over the place. The sadness and oppression in our hero's heart were visible without a single word. Because the lonely life back then, my friend, only got better with family, and now as we saw, his whole family is killed off. Anyway, when morning comes, he walks through the wreckage and the destruction that hit the whole tribe. When he goes to the spot of the box that had the stone, he finds it's gone. He understands then that the enemy tribe stole it, He carries the young boy's body and enters a cave with him to do the death rituals while he's sad. But the idea that his soul is now free makes it a bit easier for him, that's all. He sits there thinking about exactly what to do because revenge is filling his heart and mind to the point where he screams from the pain and sadness and completely breaks down. But he decides to pull himself together until he gets revenge for what they did to his tribe, no matter the cost. From here, my friend, our hero Calab starts his journey of revenge. He ties the baby to his back and walks his way through nature where silence was the ruler. He takes a goat with him so if he gets hungry, he can eat it. Because he's not in the mood for hunting, he's going for revenge now. Anyway, he keeps walking until he finds the baby crying, so he decides to sit in a spot to rest for a bit and try to calm him down. When he understands he's hungry, he secures the goat well and puts the baby under it so he can drink some milk to satisfy his hunger. And here I was thinking he took the goat to eat it. You're a real one, Calab. The important thing is that he continues his way after that, tracking the footprints of the brutal tribe that ended the lives of those closest to him. While he's walking, he meets some people on the way who are also traveling. But he doesn't care much, especially since there was no unified language in that era. It's either you understand me or you don't. Of course, our hero doesn't want a headache. He's got a specific destination now, which is revenge and nothing else. He keeps walking until he reaches a place where a fire had been lit. He smells the wood and understands the enemy tribe was close to here. When it rains on him, he decides to take cover behind a rock to protect the baby. By chance, one of the tribe's men passes by, and our hero, without a word, jumps out to attack him and chokes him with huge strength. The man screams his last breath, and one of his tribesmen hears the sound. When he goes to see what happened to him, he's surprised to find him lying dead on the ground. But in that same second, our hero comes from behind him with a rock and brings it down on his head, killing him instantly too. He then goes to check the gear and food they had to take for himself, but he finds someone else with them tied to a tree. He understands they had kidnapped him and decides to set him free. That young man can't believe it and takes off running right away without any introduction. After that, our hero returns to the spot with the goat and the baby and hides well because of the rain and also in case someone from the tribe shows up or something. At the same time, the leader of that other tribe and the two men with him are continuing their way until they see an old man and a girl with him, but they don't care and head toward their own tribe. As for our hero Calab, he continues his way through the tough mountains and plains, still carrying the kid on his back and dragging the goat, which is basically a mobile baby bottle with him. When he finds the young man he freed walking behind him, he gets annoyed and keeps throwing rocks at him while telling him to get away. Of course, the guy doesn't understand the language, but he understands the anger and the rock throwing. Basically, don't walk behind me or you'll regret it. Our hero then climbs to the top of a tall tree to hunt a few fruits to satisfy his hunger and keeps taking care of his baby and protecting him from the cold and the harsh conditions as much as he can. Meanwhile, the savage leader and the two guys with him rest a bit from the road and sit down to make a fire and gather around it. And trust me, I wish I could tell you what they're saying, but there's literally not a single word. They just sit there eating in silence, and that's it. So let's get back to our hero Calab, because at least he sees an animal and tries to hunt it. But before he shoots the arrow, he finds the old man who's with the girl hunting it before him. The two of them raise their bows and arrows at each other, but Calab feels there's no danger from him and lowers the bow. The old man does the same thing without a word, but we find our hero went to sit with him and the girl to eat from the catch he caught. Basically, I won't shoot you with the arrow, but let me eat with you. The three of them sit and eat in total silence, and the relationship between them was good. But to break this silence, the girl pulls out a piece of wood and keeps playing it for a bit. True, her playing would make a dog sick, but it's better than this killing silence. Anyway, at night, the old man and the girl notice that Calab is really interested in the baby and is sitting with him inside their hut. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the girl decides to go in and try to hit on Calab, but our hero pushes her away because he's not in the mood for this nonsense. He keeps hugging his baby, and his only goal at the moment is protecting him. The girl then goes out to the old man and they exchange looks, but the old man understands what happened. I honestly don't know how they live together. They should have found some light language to understand each other with, but that's none of our business. The important thing is the lightning and thunder start working again, and our hero Calab is just busy rocking his baby and protecting him from the rain. Anyway, the next day we see Calab moving from the place, but the baby isn't with him. When the old man sees him from a distance while he's walking, he's really affected and sad. He probably wanted him to live with them or something. But the important thing is that when he enters his daughter's hut, he discovers that Calab left the baby for her to take care of and raise. The girl is very happy and treats him like she's his mother. Meanwhile, our hero walks long distances searching for the tribe that ruined his life. He keeps walking until he enters a cave in front of him. But the problem, my friend, is that the leader and the two guys with him see him from a high hill. The leader orders the assistant to get rid of him because he's been following them for a while. Our hero keeps walking inside the cave, exploring it slowly. I mean, we're not in a rush, and there's no talking or anything, until suddenly he finds an arrow being shot toward him, but it doesn't hit him. He runs fast to take cover behind a rock until he pinpoints the location of whoever is shooting. But every time he peeks, he finds another arrow being thrown at him. He gets ready with the bow and arrow, but the situation is tough to hunt someone from a high elevation from his spot. He decides to stay behind the rock and try to seize any chance. But the leader's assistant turns out to be stupid and tries to come down from the high hill, so he trips and falls on the ground dead. When the leader and the other man hear his voice, they decide to continue their way like nothing happened. As for our hero, he runs to him to make sure for himself that he's dead for good. When he finds him dead, he tells him, "Fate spared you from what I was going to do to you," and he reaches down and gouges his eyes out with both hands as a form of revenge. So it's not said he just died on his own. It's a matter of pride for Calab. He screams at the top of his lungs afterward because he wanted to be the one to kill him and not have him die by accident like that. After that, he goes to wash his hands from the blood in the river and sits to rest for a few seconds. But he decides to continue the path quickly to catch up with the leader and the second man. But first, he takes the fur the assistant was wearing and carries it with him. We see that the leader and the man with him are totally exhausted from all the walking, especially since the nature around them is very harsh, all mountains and plains. Calab at the same time finally remembered that running existed in their time, and he started running after he was just strolling slowly. He stays like that until he reaches an ice mountain and climbs it. He doesn't care. And if you're going to tell me he won't feel the cold or anything, I'll tell you, boss, the guy is wearing a kilo of fur. It's none of our business. The important thing is Calab keeps walking until he sees the leader and his man, so he takes off running toward them at full speed. But unfortunately, the ice breaks under his feet and he falls into a deep hole and doesn't move. The leader thinks then that he's dead and decides to take his man and leave quietly. But our hero, Calab, still has some life in him. He definitely didn't come all this way just to die here. He actually gets up to explore the surroundings and finds there's no exit except from the top, but the distance is very high. And also the fall affected his body a bit. He gives in to the exhaustion and stays sitting in his place until he finds a few rocks and manages to rub them together to start a fire. He uses this fire to explore the hole. Maybe he'll find another exit or something, until he reaches a very narrow spot that's hard to pass through easily. He sucks in his gut a bit and passes with extreme caution because all of this is ice, of course, and it could melt and fall. It's a done deal. After all the sucking in and pulling and pushing, Calab gets stuck and doesn't know how to continue, so he has to give up the fire torch. With the axe, he hits the ice to break it a bit so he can pass, but he slips and falls on the ground. He respects himself then and goes back to his place and sits, contemplating this impossible opening. Plus, this isn't a normal mountain he can climb. It's impossible to walk on the ice and go up. He sits there, poor guy, eating small ice balls because of the extreme hunger. After a bit, he starts feeling despair and that he's going to die in this deep hole. But suddenly, he hears voices outside the hole and feels hope, especially after a rope is thrown to him to help him out. Despite his injuries, he climbs the rope with extreme difficulty until he finally gets out. And who threw him the rope? The young guy he saved before and refused to let walk with him. The young man gives him a look like, "See how I saved you, Calab?" And he takes off and walks away without a word. Of course, we're used to it by now. It's like when the script of this movie went to the hero, it just had his name on it, probably. The important thing is that Uncle Calab regains his strength a bit and keeps walking in the snow with difficulty to reach the one who killed his tribe and get revenge no matter what. He keeps walking, Mountains pick him up and plains put him down until he reaches a high elevation. He looks down and finds a fire lit, and he understands this is the tribe's location finally. Indeed, we see the tribe leader and his friend arriving at their tribe, and each one of them has a little girl he takes in his arms as soon as he arrives. Then each one of them goes to check on his wife. The assistant's leg is totally messed up from all the walking, and then he finds an arrow coming into his back, killing him completely so he can rest forever. His wife screams for him, and the leader comes out to see what's the story. He finds another arrow passing right by him and discovers it's Kalab hiding behind a rock. He fires back at him, but when the leader gets close to the rock, he's surprised that he's completely vanished with no trace. But he stays ready with the bow and arrow to shoot him as soon as he appears. But Kalab blindsides him from behind with the axe and attacks him with total strength. The leader gets ready with his axe too, but Kalab manages to wound him. Despite that, the leader stays savage and tries to attack him. Kalab goes crazy and hits him with the axe in his chest, wounding him badly. But even then, the leader bites him savagely and wanted to finish him off. In the end, each one of them grabs an axe, but the exhaustion is showing on the leader because of Kalab's brutal injury. He tries to attack him, but our hero dodges him at the last second, stands in front of his face, and gives him a powerful blow with the axe, ending his life forever. So he finally managed to achieve his revenge. He stays sitting in front of him until he takes his last breath and makes sure he's dead for good. Only then does Kalab fall to the ground to rest for a bit, but he quickly goes back to the rest of the tribe, which only has a woman and the two little girls. And of course, they're sitting there upset about their men who died. When Kalab sees them doing the same death rituals of his tribe, he leaves them be, but he enters the leader's room to look for the box with the mysterious stone. And we discover, my friend, that the mysterious stone is actually a mirror. I mean, all of this for a mirror, man. Is that even okay? And all the people who died. But anyway, the important thing is that our hero thankfully feels a bit of joy after getting the mirror back. He goes out to put the two he killed on the pyre so the woman can light them on fire and finish the rest of the rituals. He decides to sleep in the place tonight because of the extreme exhaustion. But he's surprised at night that the woman wants to kill him with a spear because he killed her husband and the tribe leader. But our hero wakes up at the last second and grabs the spear from her hands. After that, we see the woman gave in to reality and decided to sleep by the fire too. As soon as morning comes, our hero Kalab decides to pack up and leave. He keeps walking for long periods until he returns to the snowy mountains again. But the weather is even more intense, and he's also tired and can't go on anymore. He decides to sit in any spot to sleep for a bit. Because of the extreme cold, the snow covers him from everywhere. Once things calm down a bit, he grabs the mirror and raises it up, but he decides to throw it in the middle of the fog because it was the main reason for the killing of his whole tribe. When he goes back to walking in the snow again, he finds an arrow coming at him from his back. It turns out there was still a person in that tribe alive, and he comes out to hunt him. Kalab right then feels the exhaustion big time, to the point where he slips from a high elevation and is basically sinking into the ice. He decides to finally give up and dies in his place, frozen. And that's where this great film ends. I hope you guys liked the summary. If you made it to the end, don't forget to like the video and write us a beautiful comment like you always do. For those seeing us for the first time, subscribe to the channel to see all the coming summaries. See you next movie. Peace.